It's almost Christmas, and I wanted to share with you my beloved copy of A Christmas Carol. This is a first edition copy, and it is my cherished and beloved first edition copy of this wonderful book. I'm not sure if you've read it. If you haven't read it, go out there and read it because it's a lovely story. I've read it quite a few times. But I also wanted to share with you what you might not know about this book and Charles Dickens. To start, Dickens was the first to perform a public reading of A Christmas Carol in the Birmingham Town Hall on December 27th, 1852. He loved to perform, and that reading went well, so 3 days later he repeated it. And from then on, he continued to edit and adapt the story as a performance piece for several years. There have been 20 film adaptations of A Christmas Carol, but the first ever adaptation was called Marley's Ghost, and it was a short British film made back in 1901, which lasts just 6 minutes. If someone asked you to pick a line from A Christmas Carol, chances are you'd say, "Bah humbug." That would spring to mind. It's Scrooge's main catchphrase, right? Well, not necessarily, because in this book here, Scrooge only utters this statement twice. So maybe he wasn't as grumpy as we thought. This book here is responsible for the festive greeting, "Merry Christmas." It's written many times in this book, so it caught on and became popular, and it's still said to this day. Charles Dickens wrote this book in just 6 weeks, and to put that into perspective, in just over 1,000 hours, he wrote something that is still being loved by audiences nearly 200 years later. And it only took another 6 weeks after its initial publication to be adapted for the London stage. And it ran for 40 nights before it headed off to New York. And even more interesting, within a year of this book being published, 8 rival productions of the play were on in London. If you've read the book, Scrooge isn't meant to visit the Cratchits on Christmas Day. That is sort of a theatrical, it's part of the stage show narrative, the theatrical touch to the story that Scrooge knocks on his employee's door, Bob Cratchit and his family on Christmas Day. Because in this book, while Scrooge does wake up a changed man, he doesn't knock on Bob's door to prove it. But I love the theatrical touch to the story that's become a part of the stage show narrative. This book wasn't a huge financial success for Charles Dickens, not at the beginning anyway, although the story sold out of its 6,000 initial copies pretty quickly. The cost of printing and producing the book in the first place was pretty high, making it hard for Dickens to make any money from it. The high cost was partly due to a commission arrangement between Dickens and his publishers, but also because Dickens liked his books to have a lavish and expensive format. He wanted the pages to be bound with fancy binding, gold lettering on the spine and the cover, hand-colored drawings. Let me see if I can find one here. There's a colored drawing, colored title page, right? Where's the time? There it is. Amongst other things, and of course that it wasn't cheap to do. Now, this story was not just a, theatrical success or, had theatrical impact, but it also had a financial impact around the world. because shortly after the book was published, there was a rise of charitable giving happening all over the place, and many people believe this was due to how this story was making people feel. Dickens was transforming real life Scrooges all over the place. So there you have it. I just wanted to kind of flip through and show you my beloved first edition copy of A Christmas Carol, and give you some facts about this story, this book, its author, and that's it. Merry Christmas.